Hello, guys. Welcome to this afternoon's live where we are. Oops. I'm listening to myself speak. Sorry, guys. Where we're asking ourselves where Danny Masterson's recruit into Scientology, Miss Laura Prepon, is. Because we don't seem to find her anywhere around today on the eve of her bestie getting convicted for a horrific crime, and something that Miss Prepon was very intimately involved, apparently, from what we can find a simple GTS away. You guys, all of this information that we're going to be sharing with you today is all one literal GTS away. So let's start with this article here from Los Angeles Magazine. Let's see what Los Angeles Magazine wants to tell us is going on, you guys, because we really need to know what in the literal hell. Let me add this other one. I was going to start with another article, but you know what? I think we need to go with this article, you guys. LA Magazine. Danny Masterson facing 30 years to life in prison. Who definitely took it upon yourselves to pitch Scientology as having a shadier side. You notice how this corporate press, you guys, is shady AF themselves. Like literally, Los Angeles Magazine wants every Angelino to know that, you know, with jurors hearing testimony about both the Me Too movement and the shadier side of the Church of Scientology, is how LA Times is pitching it. Imagine being the editor board of the LA Magazine, where there is all manner of stuff that even their pathetic board knows that they can write about now, right? Because it isn't like Mr. Masterson isn't now going to be sentenced after being found guilty. But with everything that is literally on the record, with those women's testimonies alone, under oath, right, guys? Under oath is when it gets real. Under oath is when you do face felonies, including but not limited to felonies, charges, if you do take it upon yourself to just go and blab your mouth and just lie about anything under oath, which is what these women did take it upon themselves to do, guys, not once, mind you, twice. Twice, 2 times under oath, where you can understand that a victim of this, of the nature of what this crime actually is, the felony that it is, has to now face the challenge of being re-traumatized all over in a courtroom with people watching. Never mind that all those women were interrogated ad nauseum inside those hotels. Never mind that. Never mind the complicity of this hotel and the type of role, very real role, these hotels played in both how Mr. Masterson reacted in real time after those nights where he did commit the felonies that he's been found guilty of, and the women that literally ran crawling to that celebrity center where they were told they had to go. So if anyone today in this year 2023 wants to pitch to us why literal victims of exactly what Miss Masterson got convicted of went to a hotel to be interrogated ad nauseum about very real legal matters, not withholds, not overts, not ethics cycles, not whatever in the hell L. Ron Hubbard pitched. Not that. Actual criminal activity that took place. So just a second, guys. I have to take a break here because I'm getting a call that I really need to take. So chat between yourselves because we will be right back. And we're back. So those are all questions that we are asking ourselves on this very real eve of this very criminal conviction, you guys, where the corporate media continues to play dumb in this year 2023. They couldn't play more dumb. They couldn't be more, trying to pitch something that is just nauseating at its own face. So let's. I think Okay, I think I have to be here so you guys can still hear me. So I'm here. So the article continues. The allegations made by a longtime girlfriend, Christy B., and two fellow Scientologists, Jen B. and Ann Trout, all stem from attacks the accusers say took place 2 decades ago at his home in the Hollywood Hills. Masterson was found guilty on rape charges connected to Jen B. and Ann Trout, but was acquitted of attacking his longtime live-in girlfriend. All three women, however, are expected to make victim impact statements at his sentencing hearing. And that was a point of contention of these courts, you guys, if you could only imagine. And shout out to Judge Almeida, who has told us that there are judges that do know exactly how in the hell to do their job, you guys. So they are prepared. They do know how racketeering enterprises operate, and they're not in to be bought off and influenced by, including but not limited to a bunch of corrupt attorneys that are out there doing all kind of clown things that are all over the public record, no less. All right, the article continues. All three women, however, are expected to make victim impact statements in a sentencing hearing. So shout out to these courts, you guys, that are allowing the victims of this type of crime to have a little bit of a voice, so that we do understand how in the hell victims that are subjected to this type of felonies feel after this takes place. You know, never mind that we've all seen that it took a long 6 years for the ordeal, to quote Los Angeles Magazine, the ordeal for these women to get some shred of justice, right? But to expand on this actual very real Me Too movement that doesn't just apply to, you know, wealthy women of Hollywood that did get abused horrifically, as it's already all over the public record. But this very Me Too movement applies to every last shred of child that was exposed to the scourge of L. Ron Hubbard and executive proteges. So let's make sure that that is clear. Me Too AF is what our movement is called. Me Too AF. Just so that it's clear and simple. There's plenty of more minors that we're going to be interviewing and putting on the public record that I got all manner of receipts, you guys, just so we can show what in the hell we're talking about, and just so that this corporate media and everyone else that is playing dumb as we speak, playing very, very dumb. Literally, they couldn't be more playing dumb if they tried to play Dumb and Dumber. Literally, kid you not. In Masterson's first trial, which ended in a hung jury last November, well, all of you already know, everyone probably here in the chat, you guys, we know how many real shady AF things went on with that jury that it did end up hung, right? Hung jury. But shady AF is the only thing you can classify that jury with, that man that was, you know, having all kinds of weird connections to what in the hell he was supposed to be a juror for. So since he did take it upon himself to put himself on the public record, corruption was written and smeared all over his face. Let's just start with that. In Masterson's first trial, which ended with a hung jury last November, testimony about Scientology was limited. In his second 2-week trial this spring, jurors heard disturbing testimony about the church's response to the women's allegations. So, point to sort out with you guys, because yes, us that grew up in those hotels that have not a shred of education whatsoever, 7th grade is all we are working with. So why the people that acted as the arbiters of the information, including but not limited to the self-admitted Class A felonies that were data mined out of Masterson, that were data mined out of his victims that were doing the reports, the women that were named in this article, had to go to them to go speak to an ethics officer, including but not limited, you guys. Ethics officer. Get an ethics interview. How many very real hours of ethics interviews did the victims of this convicted, you know exactly what in the hell we mean, get? Now, we already have it on the public record that Miranda Scoggins, Celebrity Center Ethics Officer Miranda Scoggins, a little girl who literally, kid you not, you guys, used to be my student all the way across state lines in Florida. So let's make sure that is super duper ultra clear. The person tapped inside this hotel, Celebrity Manor Hotel, operating out of Los Angeles, fully sanctioned by all manner of people that are sanctioning that hotel operating. Where Miranda Scoggins, the very minor that she was, the very minor that was sent across state lines to go get trained at Debbie Cook's hotel to, you know, do ethics cycles on adults, because Miranda on a 2-week course could be taught how to deal with, including but not limited, Class A felony admissions. The admissions took place in those ethics interviews, you guys. You could not escape the room, period. If this happened, and I have very small Post-its because I'm out of literal Post-its, okay? So this is what we're down to right now. KR. KR Knowledge Report is a report that, you know, all of you here at SPTV pretty much understand already what in the hell it means. Knowledge report. I have knowledge of an ethics matter. That's why it's just knowledge report, just very inconspicuous, right? Just knowledge. I have some knowledge. Isn't it great to just have knowledge, you guys? It's just like knowledge. Who doesn't like knowledge? So refreshing, right? It's just, oh yeah, knowledge. Run into this little knowledge. Lots of Mexican lemonade, you guys. To get through today's episode, lots of Mexican lemonade. So yeah, Scientology, who was not part of the context whatsoever, not at all named in the criminal trial, all manner of exemptions made, because yes, God forbid that we insult Miranda Scoggins, the minor that got a diploma that told her that she didn't have to go to law school. Why go to law school when you can just go to the Fort Harrison Hotel and get a certificate on being an ethics specialist? That's all that Miranda Scoggins had to do, you guys. Like, what in the literal abominable hell type of malpractice, very really real legal malpractice, because Miranda doesn't have a shred of valid certificate to sit there charging people for her ethics handlings to be discussing what Danny Masterson should have been discussing with a criminal attorney. Had he done that, had he actually taken it upon himself to go consult with attorneys about what in the hell to do moving forward, not hotel clowns, not a minor like Miss Scoggins who had not a shred of a clue what to do. None of us did as kids, you guys. We did those stupid courses and all we could do was parrot the course. If we said something that wasn't in a policy written by that clown, L. Ron Hubbard, our heads were chopped. And it wasn't just like, oh, your head's chopped. Your head was put on a pike. You're not following the policy? How dare you? You're violating the policy. How dare you? Because Scientology had not a shred of anything to do with what took place 2 decades ago. Right or wrong? Let's continue with this article. See what else we got pitched. Christine B. didn't report Masterson until 2017 when she filed a report in Texas with the Austin Police Department, who then contacted the LAPD. She explains the delay by saying that she first reported Masterson's violence to the church in 2022. But a Scientology ethics officer, shout out to Miranda Scoggins, urged her not to go to the police. Policía. Don't go to la policía. Policía, no. Policía, no. No, okay. Not okay. Policía, out ethics. That's how they speak in there. Out ethics, no policía. So that's where she went. And she would become a suppressive person. So that makes a lot of sense, right, you guys? That's just shady, to quote them again, right? That's just shady. That's just being a little shady to literally tell someone not to go to the police because, you know, if they go to the police, they're going to become a made-up term that means nothing. So, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. You're going to end up being a suppressive person who couldn't be more of a misunderstood word being used by these people who use it to definitely humiliate you and literally in one word, they can literally end your life when you are codependent on something so toxic and narcissistic to yourself that you have not a shred of clue what in the hell's going on. But yeah, I mean, that's just shady, right, guys? That's exactly how, I mean, if y'all want to write how you would describe this type of behavior, that would be great, because, you know, maybe LA Magazine editorial board can really take a look at themselves in the mirror, given that they do cover Los Angeles and the scourge of what happened to these women, the first women in 73 years to, you know, have a courtroom hear a peep out of their mouth. Let's just not forget. What other women have been heard so far in this year 2023? How many women have been heard? And again, this is systemic institutionalized abuse, because if these women were being told not to go to the police, like it's ad nauseum on the public record, that was the standard policy, literally what they called it in there, standard operating procedure. Follow the standard operating procedure. Standard operating procedure is Policia, no. Policia bad. Policia bad. Out ethics. Off policy. Off source. All manner of ways they could pitch it. You guys, trust me. Like, the pitches from them never ended about how La Policia is literally the last place you want to end up, because why would you want to go there when, you know, we can help you here? And these women were made to pay real money, make real bank transfers to the Bank of Scientology so that they could continue getting interrogated more, just to see if there was a false purpose, that maybe some evil purpose from another lifetime really, you know, propelled that scene that went on at Danny Masterson's house, of what he got convicted of. So none of this makes a shred of sense, how all of this is just out of context, and Scientology has nothing to do with it when they're the ones meddling where they should not be. MF meddling. It's called, you have not a shred of a certificate to be hearing Class A felonies. You have not a shred of a certificate to be advising anyone that is facing that thing with ideas about don't go to the police, but we'll help you here if you pay us to get more hotel courses and classes and audits. I mean, when is the selling gonna stop? Literally, you guys, when is the selling gonna stop? And when is the LAPD gonna stop playing dumb? Literally, at a large scale, with all of this on the literal public record in documents that they can now read for themselves. The big commissioner of the LAPD that, you know, has apparently not done anything about Marisol Nichols for a slave-free world Scientologist of the year that Miss Nichols is. Nothing has happened. And, you know, that podcast of his literal lieutenant of the human trafficking division of the LAPD that did take a whole hour with Miss Nichols to tell us all about child trafficking and how horrible it is when it happens at rundown hotels. But how amazing it is when, you know, you have someone like Marisol Nichols that plays a policewoman herself all the time, everywhere, to, you know, chat it up. So there's just like, you know, literal corruption everywhere we look, you guys, kid you not. Let's finish this article because we're about. The Scientology leader, oh, here. If she would become a suppressive person or excommunicated from her church, prosecutors said in their opening statements. The Scientology leader told her prosecutors explained to the jury in Masterson's trial this spring that when you are in a relationship with somebody, as you are, Christina, it's not rape. Don't use that word. Another piece of disgusting, unthinkable advice by somebody that had not a shred of certificate, no matter what the title they chose to put on themselves, on their infantilized selves, along with that fake military uniform they did choose to wear and call themselves the ethics commander of the universe. I mean, apparently that is all it takes, you guys, to run a sham legal malpractice from hell in hotels where very real actors that do have access to real attorneys in the real world are thinking, why go there when I can go here and nothing's going to happen to me? And I can pay my way out of this because, including but not limited to, the women will be, you know, also implicated in their own felony that I committed against them. I mean, Who would not want to hire those people, you guys? Apparently, all the attorneys that definitely have taken it upon themselves to, you know, cash some checks and some retainers, because there's nothing wrong with defending a client that is doing this in plain open view, right? All of the dozens and dozens and dozens of the best attorney law firms in America that never did a shred of due diligence on the client. That's literally, you guys, apparently law school number 101. Have you done any due diligence on your client? Is your client somebody you really want to sign up? Because your law license, if you lie, will be shredded if they ever get to court. But apparently in 73 years, these people have only gotten to court now, you know, after a celebrity, huge, big time. I mean, LA Magazine already told us how big he is and how important he is. LA prominent celebrity. Those are the ones that get the trials, you guys. Let's not forget. No one else gets a shred of trial. So special treatment, and more special treatment, because corruption is not a thing. Los Angeles is a woke AF city that has an impeccable record of, you know, really wanting to do the right thing, apparently. So the article continues. Jem B went to the LAPD in 2004, a year after she said she was drugged and attacked, despite having been told by different Scientology ethics officers that she would need to review the consequences of reporting Masterson. Prosecutors say, which could include ramifications from her father, who was a well-respected church official. So again, right, guys, only shadiness is what you would call all of this that is literally being pitched by LA Magazine. The same day she made the report to the Hollywood division, prosecutors say the ethics officer who warned her not to go to the police called her to complain that she had not only reported Masterson, but also gave his name as someone she confided in. He said, I just got a call from the police officers at the Hollywood police station. You are so fucked. You are so fucked, prosecutors told the jury. So let's just highlight that you are so fucked. That's exactly how they speak to us. Let's just clarify that, so that, you know, the fact that we were treated as literal slaves with expletives, very disgusting, abominable expletives that these hotel executives from hell, deranged hotel executives from hell on power trips with delusions of grandeur that are not based in any reality other than their self-infantilized, crater-incanoodled delusion that the LAPD is all about, you guys. Because the LAPD just sees, you know, the good work of Americans whenever they visit these hotels, whenever they get a big check that they go on stage on. $15,000 donated to the LAPD, because money doesn't corrupt these institutions, right, guys? The LAPD is not up for corruption. They really want to help everybody. And Trout told an LAPD detective that the three women connected on social media and started flooding each other with our stories in December 2016, which Masterson's attorneys argued unsuccessfully amounted to contamination of the case against his client. Contamination of the case against his client was the clowns at the hotel who took copious notes, time, place, form, and event to be precise, who took it upon themselves to video record, including but not limited to ethics interviews, sessions, tailor-made sex checks that were ordered on these women with people that had not a shred of legal standing to be deciding what, including but not limited to self-admitted Class A commissions of felonies done on American soil, performed in California, Los Angeles, California, Hollywood Hills. While all of this information was being leaked to be contaminated by people that would tell these women, do not go to the police. You really don't want to do that. You're so fucked. We just got told by the police that you did go to them. But yes, LA Magazine, don't you worry about it. It's all just shady. Shady is all it is. Just a little shady, guys. But you know, nothing else to see here. The LAPD opened its investigation in June 2017 after being contacted by the Austin police. The 3 women are currently pursuing in a civil case against Masterson and Scientology. In June, Olmedo sanctioned 2 of Masterson's prior lawyers for sharing discovery with an attorney for the Church of Scientology in the accuser's civil lawsuit, in which the women say its leader, David Miscavige, orchestrated efforts to silence them, including, according to Christy B., poisoning her dog in an attempt to intimidate her. I mean, again, you guys, in what world, in what type of civilized society do we live where this could even remotely be taking place? If these people were scared about facing legal consequences, you would think all the attorneys that have taken it upon themselves to put their legal license behind this institution would be advising their client, don't poison the pets. That's going to look bad. That's going to get us in trouble. Bad. No, don't F with the victims. Our lives are going to be made hell if we F with the victims. But apparently, you know, it's either Christy B really has nothing better to do than make up stories for herself, because that's really why we're all wasting our time talking about these disgusting abuses, right or wrong. Like, we have nothing better to do with our lives, as if we want to speak about these disgusting atrocities. As if. Masterson does still have supporters, among them his wife, singer Bijou Phillips, who cried out when he was taken into custody, and his actor brother-in-law, actor Billy Baldwin. Former castmates and friends who asked not to be identified say the man who was described in court does not align with the actor they know and love. Danny was always the moral compass in our friend group, says a longtime actor. He would be the last guy I would expect to spend the rest of his life in prison. Well, isn't that interesting, you guys, that LA Magazine did get a statement from one of these actors, longtime friend of Danny's, that says was the moral compass of his friend group. As if Danny Masterson is the only one who should be facing this type of very legal, real consequences, you guys. As if justice has been served. As if. With all the heavy lifting done by Judge Olmedo for one trial that had to be redone, given the amount of unbelievable, ridiculous, MF criminal AF attempts to corrupt a system that's supposed to help victims of felonies. So good luck, America, purporting it gives an F about victims that have faced, including but not limited to, Class A felonies. Because if you survived it, if you had the miracle of surviving that, good luck getting a shred of help. They're too busy not doing anything. They're too busy succumbing to the very real power, the very real corrupt influence of what money can buy you in this country to get special treatment. So shout out to these supporters who don't believe the conviction that did take place in those courts. Shout out to y'all that don't want to look in the mirror and see if, maybe you have your own similar out ethics of your very own. Because that would be a very good question to ask for people like Laura Prepon and all these other supporters that apparently are just couldn't believe that nothing aligns. Never mind that y'all have not seen the worksheets of what Danny already admitted for himself in those sec checks, in those ethics interviews. And y'all that are part of that hotel culture, don't act like you don't know that everything's being transcribed and written as you were admitting to what in the hell you did. Don't act like that wasn't what it was that they did there. So that's where we are with all of this corruption and all of these elite celebrity people that, a la Laura Prepon, let's do a whole PR blitz. And let's say that, motherhood changed me so much that I decided to leave Scientology 5 years ago because, no one will know that I'm lying. It's not like I've just been lying this whole time, purporting to be feminist of the year and LGBTQ advocate of the literal year, spouting from two sides of my mouth, whatever in the hell I need to say and do to, be considered extremely accomplished because, being part of Hollywood is so amazing and makes you so special, especially when you have a whole hotel of people behind you that, will tell you how special you are and will open all manner of doors as long as you're paying the very real price of what they're asking, no less. Nothing's for free, you guys. Nothing that has happened in any of these things is for free. And as much as everybody wants to give the full benefit of the full doubt, L. Ron Hubbard didn't want that for his proteges. L. Ron Hubbard wrote it down in policies, what they were all to believe, how they were all to think, how they were all to check their critical thinking skills at the door or face very real consequences. And adults that really bought that pitch are running around with the burden of those choices on their shoulders, whether they want to realize it or not, whether they want to justify it or not, whether they want to point a finger at David Miscavige or not. It truly doesn't matter if they want to point a finger or purport that they're just innocent until proven guilty. Well, you know what? You're proven guilty, but exactly what L. Ron Hubbard wrote, because he's the one that pitched everything that you did. Every last shred of thing that you have done, you took it upon yourself to, have L. Ron Hubbard has my back. Of course, he wouldn't be a New York Times bestseller if he didn't have my back, right? New York Times. because the New York Times editorial board, another one of these elite corporations, woke AF, they couldn't be more woke. They couldn't be more giving you the best news coverage in the world if they haven't given L. Ron Hubbard 19 New York Times best-selling whatevers. I mean, that's what was being pitched inside those hotels. Just so you know, New York Times editorial board. Maybe they lied to us. Maybe you never gave L. Ron Hubbard anything, but they definitely put it on all over their books. So maybe y'all there at the New York Times can start reconciling those receipts for us, because that would be nice for us to really understand how in the hell a man that wrote that a 7-year-old girl should be very comfortable with having a grown man passionately kiss her is, you know, just freedom of speech, Serge. You grew up in a cult, you know, you're just pressed about our decisions that we made long time ago. Well, when the hell is your retraction then? Where the hell is y'all doing a shred of a thing about what in the F y'all endorsed? For people that were very much under the influence of L. Ron Hubbard, they have that excuse, you guys. The L. Ron Hubbard proteges have the excuse. L. Ron Hubbard told me, I thought he was for reals. I thought this was legit. I thought that, you know, I was paying $10,000, so it isn't like I could be paying $10,000 and this was all a scam. It's not like I would be giving them $100,000 and this is all a scam. It's not like I would be donating $10 million like Nancy Cartwright, only to have it all be a BS scam, right or wrong. So that's really what we're getting at here. And that's really what we're getting at this eve of this literal crickets, and more crickets, you guys. That's all we hear on the accountability side. That's all we hear on the transparency side. And it's not just the Scientologists, it's not just Miss Prepon, it's CC Netflix that enabled all manner of things with that little transactional relationship that they did take it upon themselves to, you know, pen up in their deals. Because apparently the Netflix legal department thought there would be literally nothing at all to fear by getting involved with these people. That's how comfortable Hollywood is, you guys. No wonder their industry is a literal mess, because it's not like Hollywood is not literally right now in a strike because the slaves at the bottom of the pole aren't getting paid, while the masters at the top of the pole make millions and millions and millions, as if they don't have a very similar AF business model as these other clowns at these hotels. As if they're not just, you know, one's extreme AF though. I don't know if Hollywood is that organized and that stupid to transcribe and video record as if they have the rights to run their own reality show from hell. Literally recording all of their bad legal advice that they are giving, the very real legal advice that they are giving. The type of legal advice that, you know, what is it? The State Bar Association of Los Angeles, the toothless, ridiculous State Bar Association of Los Angeles, you guys. These lawyers never get a shred of penalty. So let's just start with that. These people can run as corrupt as they want. The State Bar Association could not be less press to not give an F, because holding a license, have at it. Have at it. See if we can catch you. See if we're going to enforce anything. See if we're going to give an F. See if we're going to even like know about a law, you know, one like child trafficking that is definitely not applying to these hotels, because all the legal people right now are all in the band camp that, in America, we're a free country where, if you want to shred the Constitution and do, have some child slaves for yourselves, hip, hip, hooray. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, this is a very free country still. In this year 2023, America could not be more free. These celebrities could not be more literally fake AF. Their woke pitches about how they care about women's issues and really stand up for your rights, you guys, literally miss us with that BS. In this year 2023, no thank you. There was another article that I'm going to go over with you guys in our next live because I got to go. But, I appreciate that there are people that are standing up to the corruption, that there are people that actually are sick of the lies being fed. They're sick of the corrupt, half-baked narratives the corporate media has been putting out to cover their own, exactly what in the hell we mean. And they really have enabled something so horrific to just have not a shred of consequence, because they're all very pressed to, even in this year 2023, just say the word church. As long as you say the word church, you guys, then everyone's critical thinking skills are compromised. I mean, imagine that if it's that easy. If it's that easy, then you know what? Shout out to all of you who want to be criminals out there. Just, include the word church in your crime. And then everyone's critical thinking skills would be very, very paralyzed. 73 years of those critical thinking skills being utterly paralyzed by the legal professionals that tell us that this is all operating above water. It couldn't be more legal in America to do this. It couldn't be more something that they're very, very proud of, to allow people to just practice whatever some convicted felon wrote down on a piece of paper is all it takes to shred this pathetic, toothless constitution that no one is around to enforce, no matter how many billions they ask of subsidies to enforce laws that no one is around to enforce. Well, revise your budgets, LAPD. Revise your budgets, Clearwater Police. Pathetic department from hell that is a block away from the Fort Harrison Hotel, that has no excuse to be this kneecapped by this organization, unless something shady AF, to go back to LA Magazine's pitch. Shady is what in the hell is going on with all of this rampant corruption that, everyone is playing dumb about. And, it actually is a wide-ranging shady AF web. Doesn't just apply to the celebrities, you guys. Doesn't just apply to the Scientologists, you guys. Doesn't just apply to the police, because it isn't like you need all of these things compromised in order to get away with it. Right or wrong? There's $3 billion involved. Let's just start with that fact right there. Why in the hell is there $3 billion behind these hotels? If any of y'all can make that make sense, we'll love to hear that pitch. When y'all can literally put your money where your literal mouth is. Otherwise, save your BS pitch. Shred it in front of your face, because we don't want to hear it. We don't have a shred of patience for any more BS pitches, as nothing has changed and all these kids are being abused in these hotels as we speak, because nobody gives an F. So Laura Prepon and company, she's not the only one, you guys. So yes, as much as she's being confronted here, Miss Prepon is far from the target. She literally is exhibit A of many, many other exhibits of many, many other people that really should have it within themselves, within their humanity, to step up to the plate and be transparent and confront and do a real ethics cycle, which they know exactly what that means, you guys. They have to come clean in order to get their ethics in. And as long as they're pretending that they won't come clean because they don't have anything to come clean about, and they were all doing a very religious thing while they were there, well, you know, everyone's just still playing dumb and nothing has changed and everything is for nothing. So I appreciate all of you guys caring, and yeah, we'll continue having these difficult but very important conversations. I love you all, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye-bye.